What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for today, and we are just 2 days away from the World Cup starting, guys. This week is all about getting setups. Has been all about getting setups for the World Cup, and we so far have been successful about that. I'm going to try to get another maybe 1 to 2 setups going into these next couple of these first couple of World Cup games, which is starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And you will see we have a setup right here. That's one. Setup 2. This was actually on this channel a couple of days ago. Another setup here, another setup here, another setup here, another setup here. So we have 6 setups. And you have to understand there's a lot of potential energy in all of this, right? These are all 6 potential home runs that can be hit in the next couple of days here when the World Cup is starting, okay? Now, the past maybe week, we've gone down like 12 to 15 units, something like that. Again, this whole past week, I've been very vocal about us sandbagging a little bit to get as many setups for the World Cup as possible. So we really haven't had to use a lot of that. We haven't been able to use a lot of the energy that we have right now. That's going to be starting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? With a lot of these setups, okay? Now, I just told you guys we went down, let's just say we went down 15 units over the past week. All of these entries are like 9x entries, right? We have like 9x, we have like a 6x right here, for example. We have, this one would probably be like a 4 or 5x. But guys, if you hit 2 9x entries, you would instantly go up 16 units by just hitting 2 out of 6 of these, okay? So you have to understand these are, again, home run entries. So you don't need to hit very many of these to have a massive swing back up into the profitability here. And again, this is why I've been so vocal about World Cup and us getting set up for the World Cup, because I'm very, very convinced that World Cup is going to be a huge part of this summer for us, and it's pretty much a full month and a half of soccer. So, in the next couple of days, it's going to kick off, and then every single day, I'm probably going to be talking about the World Cup games. Who do I like, over, under, pass attempts? You guys know the drill. If you guys do not understand what we do on this channel, we do what's called correlation, okay? So, for example, a couple of days ago, I gave this one out in League of Legends. I took the unders together. They both go under together. Here's an example, or here's one that I actually took yesterday with Peach and Bao, okay? And what should have ended up happening is Bao actually should have went under. So I took both these guys over together, thinking that they would at least go 1-1 in this game. And that is not what happened. They actually got 2-0'd, okay? So they got 2-0'd. Bao was the only person that went over in this game. You'll see it was 11-8, and then the second game was 19-8, okay? So the first game was weird because this team ended up kind of winning at the beginning, and then they ended up losing at the end, and they pretty much threw the game. So it was a very low-scoring game, 11-8. There's really not that much correlation in this game. It's going to happen sometimes, but in the second game, this is a very, very cut and dry correlated entry here, guys. You have a winning team that gets about 2 to 3x the amount of kills. And this is what I come on and say every day. As you're going to see, this guy 1 kill, 1 kill, 1 kill, and then Bao ends up getting 5. And then all of this team here gets a lot of kills, really except this guy, I guess. He just doesn't play a very good game. And then the first game, you're going to see kind of similar stuff, right? But the Bao guy is the only one who went over, right? And even though I took him over, I can tell you guys right now that he should have went under, and I would have liked to see him go under because they ended up losing both games. Now, this is what normally happens in League of Legends. Does it always happen? No, but it does normally happen like this in League of Legends, right? So if you click around on SofaScore, which is what I highly recommend, you're going to see this is how League of Legends normally plays out, right? You have like 4 to 23, 2 to 14. I'm just clicking around random games, 8 to 17. 22 to 12, 12 to 21, right? And then I believe this is the game that we had here. 9 to 15. So again, the winning team, 31 to 13. The winning team is most likely going to get about 2 to 3x the amount of kills as the losing team. So if we can identify who's going to be the winning team, then we can take their overs. If we can identify who's going to be the losing team, then we can take their unders, right? That is pretty much the whole strategy that we have behind League of Legends, and that is over the blanket of correlation, okay? So if I type correlation right here, right, and I'll just have that with Coro, what we can do with correlation is we can take plays in, let's just say football. So I'll just put that as an FB. We can do football correlation, guys. We can do League of Legends correlation. We can do Counter-Strike correlation, and we can do soccer correlation, right? And right now, we pretty much are able to do all forms of correlation, right? Football, there's only about maybe 4 games a weekend because it's Canadian football right now. Obviously, as we get into the fall and the winter, there's going to be like 80 games a week or something when you talk about college football and all the games that happen in college football. League of Legends goes on year round, Counter-Strike goes on year round, Valorant goes on year round, which I don't have here. And then soccer, again, is going to be just explosive in the next couple of days here, going into soccer correlation with pass attempts, okay? And if you guys don't understand what I do with soccer and why it's so important, is I do pass attempts, overs, and unders for these guys, right? So just like League of Legends, if we can determine the winner or the loser, in soccer, if we can determine who's going to have a lot of possession, here's a good example of this. If we can determine who's going to have a lot of possession, for example, this game here, if we think that South Africa is not going to have very much possession against Mexico, Mexico is favored, Mexico has more possession than South Africa, they're the better team, they should win, then South Africa is probably going to have less possession. And as they have less possession, these guys are likely to go under together, okay? You'll see another setup here that I have with the two USA guys, USA versus Paraguay. USA is the better team. They should possess the ball more. And with that being said, if they possess the ball more, then both of these players should go over together in pass attempts, right? Because they play similar sides of the field, similar parts of the field. And when one person's passing, they might be passing to one another multiple times over this game, okay? Now, rounding out the rest of the day, we did miss on underdog 2 times, which is unfortunate. Going to send out more underdog plays, guys. I'm confident that these 2 mans are very good. Past couple of days, I showed you guys some underdog hits. And then we do have a couple of unfortunate, like, opposite correlation things, which opposite correlation is probably the thing that you want to, like, avoid, right? This is we do have correlation right here in Counter-Strike going under together, and then some opposite one. And this slip right here is probably the worst slip, because this guy goes over, this guy gets under, this guy goes over, this guy gets under, and this is just a nasty slip, right? We don't want to see any more slips like this, right? This is just, it is what it is. Sometimes you're going to take bad losses like this, but this right here is not what we want to see, because pretty much both sides of it just completely, we're all over the place, where one guy goes over, one guy goes under, one guy goes over, one guy goes under. And this is exactly what we don't want to see, okay? So trying to be as transparent as possible there. I will also say the past couple of days, especially in the CFL, we've gotten very unlucky. For example, here, 0.5 miss, and then I'm trying to find that other guy, guys, but it's going to be difficult to do. But that other CFL play was an absolute brutal one, where that guy misses by 0.5 receptions. And the reason why they gave him an extra reception is because he got a 2-point conversion, which does not count. Okay, 2-point conversions do not count as pass completions. But they gave him it, and they gave him a reception for it. It's right here, guys, with Keelan White. But they gave him this, and this should have put us up another 8 units, right? We should have went up. This was a 9x right here, so we would have went up 8 units because of this. And I already talked about this, but this guy right here, he gets 4 receptions. His last reception was in a 2-point conversion, and 2-point conversions do not count as receptions. So we got completely screwed with this entry here. This would have been nice to get 2-3 days ago. But really, at the end of the day, as I've talked about, we've done a lot of setups, setting up for the World Cup. And, we just have not had that many entries actually happen yet, right? We have a lot of entries, a lot of potential energy going into the World Cup. I showed this. I forgot to, arrange some of this yesterday, but tomorrow I'm going to be doing just an update, just complete refresh of underdog, PrizePicks, better, and sleeper. So you'll get all the refresh, guys. You guys know that I track everything. I try to update this about every 2 to 3 days. Sometimes I'm going to do that every day. Sometimes I'm going to go like 2-3 days. It just is depending on how busy I am, guys. You guys know that we're very profitable over a long period of time. And let's go ahead and get into the first pick of the day, which is going to be on better, okay? So yesterday on better, I forgot who it was. Oh, okay, it was Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns does not hit his discount, okay? So the other day, we hit Kelsey Plum, and we actually hit the discount on better. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, we took his discounted line. He was discounted by about like 3, I think, points rebounds. And he just doesn't get the points and rebounds that he needs. And he ends up missing, all right? And that's going to happen sometimes. Now, with hockey here, this guy's line's 26.5, and this guy's goalkeeper saves right now is 22.5 on better, okay? And do I know that much about the NHL? No, I know that the Stanley Cup's going on right now, but I don't know that much about the NHL. You don't ever hear me talk about the NHL very much, but I do know that if this guy's line is discounted down by 4 whole goalie saves, that is a massive discount, okay? Because if you guys do not know, these guys get about maybe 8 to 10 goalie saves a period, okay? So they have 3 periods in the game. They get about 8 to 10 a period. So him getting discounted down by 4 goalie saves is pretty much like a whole period of saves, a half a period of saves just getting wiped away from him that he has to get, okay? So 22.5 goalie saves, I'm taking this over all day. It doesn't matter whether you know about the NHL or what. This is an amazing play. And I say this a lot. You don't really have to know a lot of how these sports work. I actually recommend And this sounds super counterintuitive, but I recommend that you start betting on things that you don't know that much about, because a huge trap that a lot of people fall into is they think that they know the NBA better than the sports books, or they think that they know the NFL better than the sports books, or whatever it is, right? Because they're like, yeah, I watch the NFL every Sunday. I know more than most people, so I'm going to be profitable sports betting just by default. And that is completely false, guys. You have to understand everything is a game of numbers. These sports books know way more than you could ever know. And that's why, for example, in League of Legends, something I bet on every day, I still am using the sports books odds to actually set the lines for me a lot of times. And I'm going to get into that here in a second. But we are taking Hart over, and we're taking this Neum guy, and we're taking him under 25 kills in map 3, okay? As you guys see, in June, so a couple of days ago, I just withdrew $350 in on BETR. Okay, so I am actually making $200 to $300 a month on BETR. You could be making $200 to $300 a month on BETR as well. I went over this in yesterday's video, but I just showed you guys the past month, the past 30 days of BETR, and we are up 25 units. Okay, and what does 25 units mean at $10 entries each? That means $250 every single month that you can be generating on BETR. Okay, now again, some months it might be 200, some months it might be 350. But again, on average, you're going to get about $200 to $300 on BETR, like clockwork, just taking these discounts every day. Here is a prime example of a discount. They have another 2 to 3 discounts again today. All right, so let's get into the PrizePicks play of the day. Now, the first pick is going to be the Taco Tuesday. And just like I just said with the BETR discount, it's WNBA. Do I know who Olivia Miles is? I'm going to be honest, I don't. But I'm taking her discount anyway because I know discounts are profitable over any period of time, right? Could she get like 2 points tonight? Yes, that could be a possibility. But most of the time, these discounts are going to hit, which is why you need to take them. Now, that being said, it is Taco Tuesday. So if you guys don't know how that works, there's about 3 tacos throughout the day. So if Miles is off the board and it's past like 2:30, just sub it in for the next taco, right? Sub it in for the next taco, okay? So I am taking this with the taco. If you have another pick that you want to put in this column right here, then go ahead and do it. But I'm playing this as a 3-man, and you should be getting a 5.5x for this, which is amazing. Now, I'm taking Bull, and I'm taking Young Jay to go under together. Okay, so just as I talked about earlier in the video, guys, we take guys over or under together in League of Legends. If they win more games, they're going to probably go over. If they lose more games, they're going to go under. And I'm going to explain to you why I think this team is likely to go 1-1 or 0-2. Well, they're not likely to go 0-2, but these are the situations we pretty much need to happen. And if one of these two situations happen, then they have a high likelihood to go under together. Okay. If they sweep the other team and they go 2-0, then they probably will go over together, which is what we're gonna likely to see in League of Legends, right? So I like Young Jay and I like Bull. Now I will also say there's a guy Envy who's the mid laner. I don't like him as much, but if these guys' lines bump drastically, then you can still take Envy, okay? Envy under is also really good, but the main thing here is going to be what I just took, Bull and Young Jay, okay? Now, I actually like these guys' lines all the way down to, I like this guy's line all the way down to 9, and I like this guy's line to 7.5, so you can actually take 0.5 bumps. This is an amazing play, okay? Now, the main reason why I like these guys' lines is just as I explain almost every day, but you'll see I'm not trying to act like an oracle of League of Legends, all right? I'm not trying to act like an expert at League of Legends. Do I watch it every day? Do I know how the game plays out? Do I know all the champions? Yes, I've played it before even, and I played at a relatively decent level. But the main reason why I know who's going to win and lose and what's the series going to go like is not coming from me. It is coming from sports books. It is coming from sites like ThunderPick. It's coming from sites like Bovada. If you guys want to search up Bovada League of Legends odds or ThunderPick League of Legends odds, those are two sites that set lines for these games, and you can see who's going to win, who's going to lose, the over-under, everything that you could bet on in like an NBA game or whatever. You'll see this on these lines for League of Legends, okay? Now, this is coming straight from ThunderPick, and this is on Pick Finder right now, so this is great. This is why I love Pick Finder. It gives you everything in one view, so I don't even have to go to other sites, even though it's really easy to do so, but I don't even have to. Now, the chance that they win both maps is 32.5% chance that they win both maps, okay? And I'm going to show you guys this real quick, that they win both maps. So this guy, if he wins both maps, you're going to see that he goes over quite a lot. This guy wins both maps, kind of goes over, under, but a lot of times he's getting like 8, 10, 13, 15 kills, okay? Again, that is a 32.5% chance. Now, coming from me, I'm not setting these percentages. I don't even know how I would start to set these percentages, but this is coming from ThunderPick, okay? So with that being said, let's just call it 32 for simplicity's sake. 32% chance that this scenario happens, okay? That they get 2-0'd, that they sweep and they go 2-0, okay? That means that there is a 68% chance that the other scenarios happen, right? Which is a 1-1 or a 2-2, and O, okay? These two scenarios. So let me go ahead and show you what the graph's like when these scenarios happen, okay? And that's gonna mean that they only win 1 out of 2 of the games. When they win 1 out of 2 of the games, let me switch it for Bull and let me switch it for Young Jay, you're gonna see, what do you know, guys? They go under most of the time, literally like every time except one game potentially, right? And you'll see there's been this game, he goes over by literally 0.5 kills, and then this game, he goes over by 1 kill. And you're even gonna see in this game, guys, this is what I'm talking about in League of Legends, right? When you have a loss, 1 kill he gets, right? You're gonna see lose, like a little loss here, and then I can't point to it because it goes to the next one, but you're gonna see he plays Jarvan, and he goes and he gets 1 kill, and then this map, he wins it, he plays Aatrox, and he gets 8 kills, okay? So when you win, you're gonna get way more kills than when you lose. But this is how they look when they only win 1 game. Now, this is the most likely scenario that's gonna happen, is they go 1-1. So maybe they win game 1 and they lose game 2, or vice versa. They lose game 1 and they win game 2, okay? Now, if we look at the times where they lose both maps, I shouldn't even have to show you guys this if you guys watch this channel every day. But of course, when they lose both maps, which by the way is a low percentage that this does happen, but just to show you guys how this works, when they lose both maps, they're very likely to go way under this line, like way under this line. You'll see that when he loses both maps, he's literally had a game where he's gotten 0 kills because he lost the game so hard, okay? Here's a game where he gets only 5, only 2, and only 2, and then same story with this guy. This guy gets way under his line. It's not even close when they lose both maps, okay? So it's very simple. When you lose the game, you're going to get less kills. When you win the games, you're going to get more kills, okay? So we're rooting for this team for these scenarios to happen. 1-1 and 0-2. Now, again, this is almost a 70% chance of happening. So with that being said, just to preface, there's a 30% chance that it doesn't hit, pretty much, right? There's a 30% chance that the other scenario happens, and it would be sad, but it can definitely happen. And then there is a 68% chance that this does happen. Now, on top of this is another layer, is that these guys are correlated together. And what that means is these guys are on the same team. You'll see that they both have this little jersey color right here. They're literally on the same team. And because they're on the same team, obviously, if they lose the game, they're both going to be on the losing team. If they win the game, they're both going to be on the winning team because they play in the same team. So again, if you lose, you're going to both lose. If you win, you're both going to win. So if they do end up losing 1 to 2 games, they will both have the benefit of losing and they will both go under together. And this is what correlation is, right? Just as I talked about in soccer, if you have a lot of possession, you're going to have a lot of passes together. In League of Legends, if you lose, you're going to have less kills. If you win, you're going to have more kills, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. I don't think it's that complicated, but I do talk about this every single day. If you do have questions, you can leave them down in the comments or you can text me to my number on the screen. Guys, a number of ways to get into my VIP today, which is going to be with NOVIG. Oh my gosh, I forgot to do the NOVIG play, okay? So NOVIG play, if you guys stuck around, is Atlanta versus Chicago Sky today in the WNBA. I'm taking the over 164.5 on NOVIG. You can text me NOVIG and get into NOVIG today for just $1 and you'll get 1 month free of the VIP. You can text me or the link will be down in the description. And then also you guys can sign up for BETR, which we went over today, okay? So you can text me BETR to my number right here on the screen and I'll go ahead and get you those instructions and you'll get 1 month free of the VIP with BETR as well. Kalshi, there is a June promo going on. You get 2 months of the VIP with Kalshi. So sign up for that as well. You can text me all these words, text me Kalshi, BETR, NOVIG, whatever it is, and I'll get you guys signed up with that. Super simple. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.